Can't you tell I love you, girl? Don't give me hell about my dog. Don't blame him for brushing what he sees. Can't you tell that he's all yours and you can take him pretty far? Don't you think that's just what he needs? I would never cut you, girl. Why'd you try and cut my hair? That's symbolic of my being free. So in the morning, don't let it shake you when you wake and I'm not there. That's symbolic of my being free. Can't you tell I love you, girl? Don't give me hell about my dog. Don't blame him for brushing what he sees. In the morning, don't let it shake you when you wake and I am gone. That's symbolic of my being free.
Welcome to the Adroit Artist. My name is Andre Cormier. I'm the Executive Director of Mount Blue TV. And today I am glad to be joined by our guest,
Coleman Martin. Good to see you, Andre.
Good to see you, Coleman. Thank you for coming in. Getting started. You're primarily playing on guitar. You're starting to work on some piano, but I think one of the times we talked, you were letting me know your first guitar was not your guitar. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So how did you get started playing guitar?
So I must have been about 8 when I figured out that my older brother was the coolest person in the world ever. And that stuck with me a long time. He played guitar. And one day he gave me his electric guitar, I begged him. And it was clever that with what my parents did, they didn't give me an amp. So I just had his electric guitar, and I played it quietly for like a year, trying to learn all the chords that he knew and whatnot. Various people helped me along the way, learn music, but largely it was by trial and error.
Yeah. And,
I'd sit at a piano and try to get the noises from the piano onto my deadly quiet electric guitar. And slow and steady, I kind of figured it out.
So you had a piano at home as well?
Yep.
People in your family play piano?
Well, they only play the radio. That's about it. But we have a piano. We got it for free. And they figured it would be good. When I was just a little kid, they noticed that I had a tendency to like music. So they thought it would be good to have a piano in the house.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, listening to some of your music and influences of different covers you've played, what are some of the bands you gravitated to or the music you gravitated to early on?
Early on,
Yeah.
I really liked Simon and Garfunkel.
Yep.
That's one of my favorites still. And the Beatles.
Yep.
We listened to 93.5 a lot when I was younger, before it was like a country station.
Yeah.
And that's like 60s, pop.
Right.
And that's a lot of my musical vocabulary now is still influenced by the 60s pop that was on the radio.
As you think about the music that you make, what do you think made you gravitate toward that sound? Was it just, do you feel like because that's the first things you were hearing, or is it now that you've been exposed to more music, you seem like, say, you're coming back to it? What is it that you think about that music that brings you back to it?
I think it really, from my understanding, it brings people together, Yeah. I think there have been whole movements, with that music, that genre, right? That was during, all kinds of stuff was happening back when that music was coming out, and people were getting together, and there was a really cool, a cool vibe, as far as I know. People working towards peace and harmony.
Yeah.
And I want to carry that same energy, I want to try to bring people together like that music did, supposedly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the things that caught me about your sound the first couple times that I heard you, is that, that you can hear it, it's embedded in what you're doing, I think. And it, even the times we recorded in here, it's a quiet togetherness that I feel like with some of the songs, especially, but some of the numbers that are on your newer album, there's cool, intense energy as well.
Yeah.
So when you're starting to first hear the song, the song "An Hour a Minute," for example, I think that was one of the first songs that I'd heard that you picked. How did that song come to be?
Oh, well, can I?
Yes.
Okay.
We love show and tell on the show.
This is, yeah. This is my favorite voice. So I was just fiddling around, and 3/4 is the time signature it's in, and for me that's really comfortable, kind of soothing, and I just thought about how time flies, and also how it stands still, all at the same time, right? The only real experience we have is the moment, and so I thought well, instead of mile an hour, hour a minute, what is it,
Yeah.
And from there, I thought about the girl that I had a great big crush on. She's my fiance now, which is exciting, But I just started kind of writing about how time works to my understanding, and how love works to my understanding, and played with little walk downs and walk ups, and tried to make it sound like I was a full band, even though it was just me. And that song's carried me quite a ways, in bars and restaurants. People dig it.
Yeah.
I'm glad they like it. If I wrote a song for you, it'd go an hour a minute. Pretending to understand love, I fell in it. Send the blood rushing through my veins, pressed against your skin. When it's cold outside, it's letting me in. And your old man could wait, you said. Well, no, he didn't. We just lost track of time, going an hour a minute. So I could write about gray eyes, long hair, and the love you gave me. And I think you'd understand, feel the same way. 'If I wrote a song for you, it'd go an hour a minute. Pretending to understand love, I fell in it.
I think one of the things when talk to people who make music, make art, there's like the internal experience, and then your first experience of you're getting to express yourself.
Yeah.
You're getting to work through some of your own emotions, and then you kind of give that out. So you get that second experience of how do people experience what you've created.
Yeah.
What's that been? You've played now some different venues, smaller coffee shop stuff to doing something like a larger auditorium.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you as you've played different gigs?
Oh, it's been great. It's been really motivating as an artist, as a songwriter. There are times like I would play at the Orange Cat Cafe in Farmington. Is it okay to use names of places? Mm-hmm. It is? Okay. Yeah. I played at the Orange Cat Cafe, and it was like I wasn't there, you know? And I was singing my heart out. I was doing my best, but just the time and the place was so that I didn't feel like I was being appreciated or noticed. And then out of nowhere, I'd get a round of applause. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, cool. You know, right. I have something to say, and I've said it, and it's starting to pay off, you know? And Mary Jane's Slice of Heaven is where I started out. I was so new at music. That was my first gig. Yeah. It's there, you know? And it was great because you get supported by all these people you don't know, you know, who are just into music. Mm-hmm. And gradually working up, you know, playing festivals and whatnot, I've been really lucky, I think, just trying to bring people together and to a point succeeding. I got to play at the Kingfield POPS Festival twice, which was an honor. Yeah. And the first time they said, "Can you play covers?" And I lied. I said, yeah, I can do that. And I played like half original songs. But they invited me back to play original songs the next time. And that was a risk. I'm glad I took it. But it's generally been rewarding playing music that means a lot to me for people. Yeah. And yeah.
One other performance that I saw, we covered the high school graduation. Mm-hmm. And we did the Foster Tech one as well. And I think at both of those, you played the Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem, on piano. Yep. And I'd not heard it done that way. Tell me a little bit about how you went about doing that.
Okay. So they asked me to accompany, essentially, to which I didn't want to play guitar. Right. I don't know. The mood just didn't seem right, you know? And so Michaela Ford was singing the national anthem, right? And there were times when we practiced it, I think just nerves and whatnot, it was kind of rushed or slowed down in places. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, I'm just gonna follow what's going on. I'm just gonna follow my ears. and I use all the same chords and whatnot, but
Right.
I kind of tried to make it roll, if you will. There was like a circular motion that went on throughout it. Not saying I came up with that, but I used that trick to try to make it as flowing as possible.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I hadn't heard anybody do it that way.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, I picked that a little bit in your music. Like, you're influenced by things, but it seems to me like you're also kind of always pushing to figure out how you can put your own stamp, how you can noodle with things. The impetus of an artist with that. When you're thinking about instrumentation and what you're playing, you hear in your head, do most things come to you, the instrument you're most familiar with the guitar? Do you sometimes hear things come to you in piano? How does that happen with the songwriting process for you?
Yeah. Well, what's really helpful for me is just to sing each part. So I hear what's happening on the guitar. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's what serves the song the best. But sometimes, for me, it takes discipline, you know, to find what fits nicely, especially when I, like recording my album, my most recent one. I try to place instruments tastefully, and I do a lot of that by hearing the melody in my head as a single line, you know, like I could hum the bass line, and then I translate it to whatever instrument fits.
Yeah, well, I was listening to an Acoustic Cafe episode, and that's sort of one of the artists was saying. He's like, you know, I could play accordion on the album just to play accordion and do something different, but it's really, is it authentic to what you're feeling or hearing in that piece?
Yeah.
How do you, this guitar that you have now, is it the guitar you had, that looks like a new rig that you've got there?
Yeah. My old guitar has served me well for a long time. And then one day, I don't know what happened. I think just humidity happened, but the bridge like pulled halfway off, and that was, I haven't played it since.
Tragic.
Yeah, now it just hangs in my room, and I look at it sadly.
There it is.
But yeah, I took a little break this winter from playing out, just a little break. I'm back, but it was because of that guitar incident. You know?
Yeah.
I got myself a new one, and it's been going really well.
Nice. So you're, speaking of different things that you do, so you're Martin Woods Farm.
Yep.
You guys have something called Campfire Chronicles. I think that's still the name of it, isn't
it?
Yeah. So you can tell people a little bit about what that is.
Of course. So the Campfire Chronicles is a music event series that we run at Martin Woods Farm in Starks, Maine. And it's about community. Kind of. It's about getting people together, you know, in a rural area and just celebrating the fact that we can do it.
Yeah.
So we have farm fresh food, and we have live music from like 6 to 9. We do it the last Saturday of every month. Mm-hmm. And we usually get local musicians to come out and play. I'll play a set. Sagittarius Rising, I think they've been here with you.
Yeah.
They usually do a set as well, because we live awful close.
Nice.
And it's a hoot.
Yeah.
And it's open to the public.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm meaning to get out there. We talked a little bit about that, the vibe of sort of like the drive-in feel of by the carload and local food. Just really a nice vibe to take in some music and community, like you said. That's awesome that you guys are doing that out there. Another thing that you have, you're going to be playing, you mentioned playing some festivals. You've got the Fiddlehead Festival that you'll be at.
Yeah.
Are you excited for that?
I'm so excited for that one. I've been doing that 3 years now, I think. Yeah, 3 years. And every year I get to see people that I know or hear, but they come out of the woodwork. You know?
Right.
And it's great. It's great to see everyone again and share my songs.
When you go to music, mm-hmm. as part of your living and working in a farm environment,
Yeah.
when do you go to music? Is it sort of something you start with the day? Is it a lunch thing? Is it something you kind of touch base with? Or are you intentional about your time when you're working with, or I'm going to work on a song this week? Or is this sort of just when it comes and it feels good?
I don't even know if I should admit this. I write how much money I've made on each pack of strings.
Nice.
Because I can't justify buying strings unless I know I'm breaking even. You know?
That's fair.
So far, I've been doing okay. But I don't know. There have been times in my short career,
Right.
that I start feeling stale, And when those times hit, I've got to write a song, Even if it's not good, I have to make something. But most of the time, I don't have a lot of choice about what I'm doing. I kind of do what I have to do.
Yeah.
And I'm pleased with that. I'm happy that that's how it is. But that means that music comes like at weird times, It doesn't come when the sun is shining, I guess. It comes when I'm really moved by it and I have a second.
Yeah.
Usually after 9 o'clock.
Yeah. No Hands.
Yep.
How did that song come about?
Oh, that's a tough one. So I lost a friend of mine a while back, and I don't think anyone knows what to do, because there's nothing that you, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
You want to be respectful, especially to all their friends and family, right? And it's a hard time. And so I just wrote that song out of not knowing what to do, I try to carry on her memory and try to do it justice, and I hope that even if people didn't know her, and even if that's not the message that they get from the song, I hope that kind of helps just to carry on her spirit a little bit.
Do you recall when you were small and you had no plans? You'd cool your heel by chain, by wheel, and bike with no hands. In fields of green, oh, weren't you keen? Didn't you know? In life, mistakes for eyes to take, and watching you grow. You left your own home going very fast and very far. Resigned, refined, you passed through time, and now you drive cars. You left your own home going very fast and very far, babe. Resigned, refined, don't change your mind. Oh no. Ooh. Small, and you had no plans. You'd cool your heel by chain, by wheel, and bike with no hands.
as a guest with your dad, Bud,
Yeah.
for Talking Maine, and I remember you saying that you enjoyed haying,
Yeah.
and that's for some people like that'd be
The
like
worst.
the worst thing.
Yeah.
Where are you happiest when you're in your life? Like, is music part of it? Where are you happiest when you're what are you doing?
Well, I'm happiest in the moment, I think.
Yeah.
That's pretty common, I would say.
Yeah.
Nothing special. But I think music can be my motivation, when I'm spending time just hearing a song in my head, one that I've written or one that I really like. It helps me find a rhythm, and it helps me keep going through the day, doing things that I have to do. I honestly love haying. That's probably one of my favorite things to do, because it's so clear that I'm making progress, for my animals, and just, I don't know, there's something about like really having the reward by the end of what I've done. I think that might be where I'm happiest. Which is weird.
Well, do you get a similar feeling of, I think I hear what you're saying. Like, you can see when the haying's like it's stacked up.
Yeah.
Like, there it is.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Is there a similar feeling at all when you put an album together? Because
yeah.
there it is. You've stacked it up. Like, you've put something together now.
Yeah.
How was that for you when you went about the process of saying, okay, I'm going to kind of put this album together now?
Yeah. Well, Verbal Contracts is like a time capsule,
Yeah.
That's where I was when I finished recording it. That's the mark of it's good enough. This is what I want to share with people, But I think another thing that I enjoy almost as much as haying is like drawing, and art. And when you make a drawing, every mark that you make is a documentation of your decisions, And what I like about music is it's like drawing in the sense that it's like sound on the mark of time passing, if you will, right? That's a stretch, but what's cool is the album is complete, but every time I make I perform the songs from the album, I'm not trying to meet the album. It's a continuation, right? So it's a reinterpretation of the process that I went through. And so in a way, it's great to look at my album and say, there, it's complete, But one of the fulfilling things about it is it's not complete, The song isn't complete. It's just, here's a picture of it in a moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's maybe an Annie DeFranco song, or it's like it's a record, as in a record of an event. Like you're saying, like you don't have to. Every time you pick that song up, that's for you to say, I'm going to try to do it this way, different.
Right.
It doesn't have to. I like that. You don't have to meet the album.
Yeah. And it's a totally different thing playing in front of people,
Yeah.
Playing for people, or playing in the attic with like bed sheets hung all around to try to get the sound just right. When I made this album, I was entirely motivated by what felt good to me, and what sounded right to me. Whereas when I played the songs from the album for people, my motivation is different. It's to bring them together and to share, what I have made.
Different. You can get you get feedback from an audience, and it kind of it has to influence what you're doing.
Totally. Yeah. If other people are stomping and dancing, at very least your blood gets pumping. At very least, usually you start stomping and dancing too.
Yeah. The other song that you performed that I really liked is the Rips and It Rips You Up.
Yeah, and it will rip you up.
And it will rip you up.
Yeah.
That one, that just looks fun. Like talking about playing around on the guitar. Is that sort of how that one came to be, or how did that one come to be?
Yeah, that one. How did that come to be? I heard it. I heard little parts of it. Kind of. I don't think I stole it from anything, but it was in the air already. The little riffs, and a lot of it's just walking up and down a scale, you know. And I heard about Joni Mitchell. I think it was when she wrote Both Sides Now, where she just like detuned her guitar until it sounded good. And I thought, I'm going to do that.
Nice.
And slowly it came together. There's a lot of little hooks in it. And I just try to serve the song with the hooks and with the guitar parts. And I'm pretty pleased with how it came out.
Yeah. Now, is that one where that instrumentation part came first and then it's working some words in to match that? Or is that sort of like you're stitching both as you're going along?
The words came last by a long shot, yeah. It was like all instrumentation. I had the whole song written almost a year before I even put a word on it because I was just having fun, you know. And then it was time. It was time to put a message on it.
Everybody in my hometown hates it when you show up late. And all their time's worth something, but playing with the devil gets you paid. And it'll rip you up like this. Lost in earth, and all the townsmen question things unanswered to this day. Like the crap you pulled on Halloween and how your tarot cards could all explain. Until they ripped them up like this. Everybody in my hometown hates it when you show up late. And all their time's worth something, but playing with the devil gets you paid. And it rips me up like this.
think one time we talked, you were talking a little bit, and I was thinking about this when you talked about hour, minute, and time. You've graduated high school now, and I think you were saying like that seems like already a long time ago with all the things that have happened.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about, like, where are you looking toward for the future? I know you talk about living in the moment, but what are do you have plans in terms of what are you doing next musically, and where are you going with things? Yeah.
Well, my 5-year plan is I'd like to, by the end of 5 years, I'd like to be living off of the farm and off of the music that I've made and my performances.
You're also planning on getting married, did I hear?
I am. Not married today, but...
Or right.
That'll be, so that's another part of my 5-year plan. She made the... Can you all see the foot?
We'll put up a picture of the artwork. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so she made that.
Who's she?
Malin Layton.
She also performed some songs with you at Emory as well,
Yeah. It's really important to have someone who's got you, beyond just your parents.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it without her.
For the past 5 years or so, I've really been playing guitar most of the time, and only piano sometimes. But while I've been recording my first album, Verbal Contracts, I realized that I didn't have a bass guitar, and I didn't know anyone who had one who would let me borrow it for an extended period of time, So I ended up using the piano to play bass on my album, Verbal Contracts. And as I did that, I got reacquainted with this instrument, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So here's a couple songs that I've written that I'd like to play on piano now. First one's called The Optimist. Oh, gee, what should I be? What should I be? Anyone at all except for me. When you're there, I'm on the ground, 'cause you're always trying to drag it down. I like you just when you're not around. I'll sit here, stare at my shoe, second to next best thing I can do. For anyone at all except for you. Thoughts of an optimist told narcissistic lies, questioning the time he'll take no more. Be a deer and stay a lamb until you find your head. You might as well be dead without it. And you know it's alright. No, it's all fine. No, it's all kind. You know it was, just not well it's mine. Na 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 na. Oh gee, what should I be? What should I be? Anyone at all except for me. Hey, thoughts of an optimist told narcissistic lies, questions in his eyes about that right. Be a deer and stay a lamb until you find your head, 'cause you might as well be dead without him. And you know it's alright. No, all kind, you know it was. It's not, well, it's mine. Na, 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 Thank you.
I think beyond support too, I've talked with other musicians, like one of the things that you kind of, I hear often is that like you kind of have an inner circle to some degree of when you do make something to be able to say, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
Like not everybody's feedback matters as much as other people's. So is that, do you kind of have that inner circle of people that you, when you're like, I kind of like this?
Definitely. Yeah. It's funny, so my father likes country music.
Yeah.
That's fine with me, you know. But I'll play songs, and the genre that I write in, I'm not stuck to it, you know. It's how my songs come out.
Yeah.
They're not exactly, they're you know, they're not George Strait.
Right.
They're just not. And so it's really good because my primary support system for a long time was my parents. And it's really good. Malin and I have similar taste in music, and she's very supportive in that way. When I have a song, and Dad's like, "Well, yeah, it's good," you know. And then,
it's not George Strait, but it's
you know. And then she can look at it through a similar lens that I look at it, and it's reassuring, you know.
Yeah.
It's important to run it by a lot of people. It's important to take that risk, you know, even if you don't know if it's good. If you like it, if you like something about it, I feel like probably other people will also like something about it.
Yeah.
But my inner circle's supportive, but my decision making isn't entirely based on my inner circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to find out more about your music, where with like purchasing verbal contracts or just where you're gigging, where do people find out more about you and what you're doing?
Well, I have a Facebook page. Coleman Martin Music. I'm not the best at social media, but everything that I've done has been documented on the Facebook page. And I have a monthly position the second Friday of every month. I play at Mary Jane's Slice of Heaven.
Nice.
I've been doing that for years, and it's my favorite place to play. It's always a fun show. And I carry my CDs with me pretty much everywhere. I'm not on Spotify yet, but I plan to be by the end of summer.
Nice. Awesome.
Yep.
Coleman, thank you for coming in and talking to us about your music and sharing a little bit about your life as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Adroit Artist. If you want to find out more about Cole, like he said, we'll put up some information at the end about where you can find more about that. Any of the artists that you've seen here on the Adroit Artist, you can always catch other episodes on mountbluetv.org. And thank you for joining us.